Hey fellow babies, welcome to this week's edition of Pach-Attack. We have a question from Twitter from @SeriousGeorge. How many units do you think the Wii U will sell this holiday season? I guess the easy answer is it's going to sell out. Every single unit that Nintendo makes is going to sell. So the better question is how many are they going to make? And I think the right answer to that is if you think about Nintendo's manufacturing history, they tend to put together enough manufacturing capability to spit out about 1 to 1.2 million units a month of any console that they make. So if you recall back when the Wii launched, Nintendo forecast they'd sell 14 million in the first year. That's about 1.2 million a month. As I recall, a manufacturing line has the capacity to spit out about 400,000 units a month. And so Nintendo had 3 lines. I doubt that they will go to 4 lines, so I don't think you're going to see 1.6 million a month. I think you're going to see 1.2 million a month. They hadn't started manufacture as of the date of the Nintendo event in New York City, September 13th. You would have seen pictures of the thing leaking on the internet had they started manufacturing in China. Somebody would have brought a picture in, brought a cell phone into the manufacturing line and snapped a photo of the device going into a box or something. So probably they started manufacture around September 20th. That means around 3 months between the day they start and Christmas. So 3.6 million units made, 3.6 million units sold. That's about what I think they're going to do this holiday season. Hope that responds to your question. Another question from Twitter from @Give'emSpice. Why is the summer slow for games? Don't devs realize that people have tons of free time then? People have tons of free time in the summer, and there's tons of things to do in the summer. It's warm outside. I'm talking about the Northern Hemisphere summer, June, July, August. I know in the Southern Hemisphere, it's whatever, November, December, January. So obviously it's warm in different places at different times of the year, but the Northern Hemisphere Western summer that falls, June, July, August, there's a lot of outdoor activities to do. If you actually pay attention to, say, television show ratings, they drop like crazy in the summer, which is why you don't get new TV shows then. New TV shows start in September, and that's the beginning of the season because people are home and indoors once they go back to school, and when they're out of school, they tend to be not at home and outdoors, so it's a smaller market to ship a game into. Now, you should give the publishers and the developers some credit. They've clearly studied this. They know what the optimal window for shipping a game is. You have very few games coming out in June, July, and August, other than NCAA football and Madden football, which kind of have to ship in the summer because the college season starts at the end of August and the pro season starts right in the beginning of September. It really doesn't make sense to ship anything else then. I think what we have seen is publishers kind of shifting away from Christmas, and we've got many, many more games coming out in February, March, April, May, excuse me. So things like Red Dead Redemption, L.A. Noire, Max Payne, came out kind of in those windows. But you're not going to see, a lot of games coming out in June, July, August unless there's a delay or unless the company needs money. So it's possible you'll see Saints Row, that content come out in the summer next year because THQ needs the money, but I don't think that's the optimal launch window because most people aren't home, aren't sitting around waiting for the next game to come out. They are out playing sports, going to the beach, doing whatever people do in the summer. We have a question from Twitter from @TrueLink00. Dear Pachter, do you think Sony will release a 3rd generation of the Eye with its next PlayStation? 2-part answer. I sure hope not, and yes, they will. I think that Eye is a gimmick, actually much the way I think the camera piece of Kinect is a gimmick. I mean, it's fun for some purposes, but I think actually the motion control thing, the camera thing, not that big a deal. Voice control's okay, and there are some kind of games where the camera makes sense, but honestly, I think what we really need is, to just focus on gaming and not get too hung up on the handful of gimmicks that we get. I would imagine that with there were maybe a dozen games, and none of them were particularly big sellers. It's one more piece of equipment that you just don't need in the living room. I think ultimately you're going to see televisions designed much in the way that that monitors are designed for PCs, where there's a camera built into the monitor, much in the way that we have it with cell phones, where there's a front-facing camera built in. If you get that on your television display, you don't need at all, and ultimately I think that's what we're going to see. You know, Kinect has been pretty successful. Nobody's really sure why. I guess we can ask Microsoft guys, because not that many people use it, but primarily it's successful because Kinect Sports is kind of fun. But again, I don't think that the quality of the camera makes that much difference. I don't think we need a next generation, and I don't think a next generation is going to move the needle at all. All right, fellow babies, that's it for this week's edition of Pach-Attack. If you have questions, please direct them to the link below. And if you'd like to ask me a question on Twitter, please send them to @MichaelPachter on Twitter and copy @RohanLikesPants, because Rohan likes pants.